Sir Vaculin, you've had an exciting life. Tell me some stories.
Bien sûr. Your interest is gratifying and quite understandable.
Where does the name Brabant come from?
That is simple. My compatriots call me that because I am originally from Brabant province. And the name stuck. One day, I shall tell you about my place of birth, but I am sure you will long to hear about the conquest of Arezzo, yes? Or would you rather hear how I saved the King of France from certain death?
Arezzo sounds interesting.
And so it was. That is where I earned my knighthood from the great Enguerrand de Concy himself, the commander of our Naples campaign. Enguerrand arranged his forces for battle, and I was put in charge of one of the cavalry units. Out of nowhere, the enemy appeared on our unprotected flank, and Enguerrand set me to hold them back so our main force could regroup. But I saw a gap in the enemy's main phalanx. I sounded the charge and sped forwards.
Wasn't that rather risky?
Un chevalier français fears nothing.
I reckon King Sigismund would think otherwise after Constantinople.
That was completely different. Alors, I caught them by surprise. I hacked my way to their standard and broke through all the way to the enemy's reserves. My attack sowed confusions in the enemy's ranks that encouraged the overlords who raced to join me, scattering everything in their path. And that is how we won the famous victory at Arezzo. Seeing that the force that was supposed to protect them had been routed. The city then surrendered to us. No doubt you had no inkling at Maleshov what a knight you had the honor to meet. And of course my feats on the field of battle do not end there.
A bold maneuver.
Quite right. Courage is my middle name. Just as Monsieur Chapon says, Audantes fortuna juva. That day I was the bravest of them all and won the day.
So you disobeyed your commander and left your flank exposed. Your attack could have ended in a total fiasco. You were lucky the others came to your assistance and your entire force didn't collapse.
I hear envy speaking, but you are still wet behind the ears. So, I can forgive you. In short, I saw an opportunity and took it. Moments like that can decide entire wars.
What did your commander have to say?
He made me a knight and sent me to the royal court to inform the sovereign of our triumph.
I reckon he wanted to get you out of his hair.
Do not talk nonsense.
What other feats have you performed in battle?
Oh, many, mon ami. For one battle does not make a warrior. It would take a week to recount them all, so I will just tell you about my second greatest feat. On the Italian field, we faced John Hawkwood, a ruthless Englishman and a fearsome warrior. Surrounded, we were at his mercy. Night fell, and we knew he would attack at dawn, and that would be it. But just then, Providence put an idea in my mind.
Did you set some kind of trap?
You could say so. Unobserved, I mounted my horse and set off to find help. And, La Dame Chance was exceedingly kind to me that day. As I rode away, by chance, I stepped off of our horses. Thinking we were trying to break through, Les Anglais went to head them off. But while the English were occupied with Myceli, our units managed to flee. I saved many men from certain death that night, and many lords from the disgrace of capture. Needless to say, I was generously rewarded for my valor.
That is indeed incredible. But you were just trying to flee, weren't you?
I wanted to bring reinforcements, but as I say, I merely follow Providence, and she guides my steps. from triumph to triumph, wherever I go. Stick close to me, Henri, and Providence will favor you too.
How did you save the King of France?
With Providence as my guide, mon ami, I came to the court from the field of battle to bring news of our victory, because, and remember this, the bearer of good news is always rewarded and cherished. But the king was in a bad mood and did not wish to be disturbed. Maybe I thought the news of our victory will dispel his ill humor.
How could you tell him if he didn't want to be disturbed?
Ha! I climbed up to his balcony and into his chambers to surprise him with the joyful tidings. And lo and behold, the king was writhing and gasping on the floor, overcome by one of his fits. Wasting not a moment, I dashed over to him and unblocked his throat, thus saving his life. In return, the king bestowed on me the title of Échanson, or cupbearer, and other generous gifts. And I then spent a while in his service at court. Unfortunately, though, even the king's favor does not last forever, and minor mistakes can come to overshadow good deeds.
What happened at court that led to you being out of favor?
Well, perhaps I shall tell you some other time. Would you not rather hear about the glorious duel between Legris and Carouge?
Tell me what happened at court that caused you to lose favor.
Ah, a major setback and a gross injustice, mon ami. It is an unhappy memory, because it was the first time that La Dame Chance abandoned me.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. We can all learn from our failures. And I bet even your failures make for great stories.
Oui, that is certainly true. Very well, then. I suffered a combination of misfortunes all at once. But bad luck in business and on a hunt were the worst of all.
Luckery and Cargouche. Sounds like a pair of jesters.
En aucun cas. Jacques Legris and Jean de Carouge. These two great knights were in a legal dispute over an estate. But above all, when de Carouge was on a campaign, Legris fornicated with his wife. She claimed that he had raped her, while he said he had seduced him. And because everyone swore to their own truth on the Bible, the matter had to be settled by combat. First, they jousted. Then they fought on foot with sword and axe. Legris thought victory was in his grasp, but de Carouge suddenly pounced on him, wrested him to the ground, and beat him so terribly that he knocked off his helmet and cuirass. Even so, Legris refused to admit his guilt, and de Carouge drove a dagger through his neck. And if you promise not to tell, I will let you into a secret about that dagger.
Tell me the secret. I promise I'll keep it to myself.
Bien. As I say, de Carouge killed Legris with a dagger. And I found that dagger in the mud after the duel. A blessed blade, an instrument of divine justice. The dagger that ended the last trial by combat France ever witnessed. An item of great value. So, I had several copies made and sold them to rich French noblemen. That is how I first came into wealth. And I used the coin to buy the horse and armor I needed to set off in pursuit of glory in battle.
Ha! That was a good idea. I'd never have thought of that.
You still have a lot to learn, mon ami. But you're young, you have plenty of time. Just keep your mind and eyes open, like I did. It was one of the greatest things I ever saw, and I have seen a lot. Believe me. Half of France came to watch, including the king himself, who then banned trial by combat in France forever. I later told the story to anyone who was interested. One of my listeners, a certain Froissart, wrote my icon down and became famous. I could have written it myself, of course, but I am happy to help others find success.
You were in business?
Of course. I come from Brabant province, home to the greatest entrepreneur of all. My birthplace gave me an unrivaled nose for corn and the reputation of a financial expert. I was nicknamed the Seer of Louvain, and also the End of Midas. That is, until I persuaded an important nobleman to invest a large sum in maritime trade with Africa. All the ships he bought sank in a tempest. He had to sell off part of his estates to pay off his creditors. Of course, he wrongly blamed me for everything and turned many influential courtiers against me. But my advice was sound. He was simply punished by God for fornicating with every wench from the Pyrenees to Brittany, bragging about it and thus bringing shame on his gentle wife. I told him as much, but some people never admit their mistakes and prefer to blame others.
A sea voyage from France to Africa? You must have known that was a massive risk.
A risk, perhaps, but think of the fortune to be made. A man must think big if he wants to achieve greatness, no?
Big ideas often lead to big trouble. Storms, pirates, sea monsters, uncharted waters. It was a disaster waiting to happen, Baron. You should have tried the Baltic trade route.
You are right. That would have been safer. But that is under Hanseatic control and there is too much competition. Africa, mon ami, that is the land of opportunity. The Arabs sell to the Portuguese via Ceuta and they sell on to us. Just imagine selling further and trading directly with African kings, cutting out all of those middlemen. Remember this, because one day I will be proven right.
How did you end up here?
Leaving the court with a modest sum, I launched to visit faraway lands. I traveled a lot, spending time in various countries and having many great adventures. When I learned that l'Empereur Charles, that great friend of France, had built the magnificent city of Prague in Bohème, I had to see it.
So people in foreign countries speak highly of Prague?
Bien sûr! It was abroad that I heard of King Wenceslas' Silver City and its reputed vast wealth. I bought the abandoned Miskowitz estates and shares in the Kuttenberg mines. And for a time I settled here to provide for myself and wait for King Wenceslas, whom I wished to serve. But even here fate did not let me be. When Sigismund brought his army to the city, I appointed myself to lead its defense. For how better to make King Wenceslas aware of me than by saving his beloved city? Victory was assured, but the burghers had other ideas. The city was handed over to the enemy, and I with it, stripped of my possessions. I languished in captivity, until fate again stepped in by sending you to Malishov.
Sir Vaclin, I'm surprised how well you speak our language. Where did you learn it?
Where do you think? Here, of course. Ce n'était même pas difficile. Perhaps I have already mentioned that I am guided by Providence. She endowed me with many talents, mastery of language among them. I can communicate almost everywhere in a word, and learn every new tongue in a trice. I now speak French, German, Italian, Latin, Hungarian, and Czech. Some English, though that is only a necessary evil.
What was the hunting incident?
We were out in the royal hunting grounds when I caught sight of a white stag. There had long been rumors about it, so imagine the prestige I would have gained by getting it. I set off after it, pierced its flank with arrows, and unleashed the hounds to finish it off. When I arrived, it turned out that my aunt had not killed a stag but the horse of a lady, a court favorite of the queen's. I fell out of her favor, and all the doors became closed to me.
You were damned unlucky. But that could have happened to anyone, couldn't it?
Quite right. I'm glad you are sensible enough to agree with me. A misfortune like that, which could indeed happen to anyone, would make lesser men roll with laughter. But the other lords were afraid I would outshine them, so they were waiting for a chance to get rid of me. And that chance came along, unfortunately.
Tell me about Brabant province. Is it far from here?
Quite far. From Bohemia, you would go to Bunburg and then follow the river Main until it joins the Rhone. Then you sail down the Rhone until it reaches the sea. And there, between the river and La Flandre, you will find Brabant, with its wealthy cities. Anvers, Bruxelles, Louvain, and many others. But those three cities are the equal of Paris, Rome, or your Prague. Both the Dukes of Burgundy and the Imperial Princes would like to annex our land to theirs, because its flourishing trade has made it rich. But like everywhere else, you can only come into wealth by birth or by enterprise, which is how I did it.
Thanks for sharing your stories with me, Sir Vacklin. Tell me, how did the siege of Kuttenberg go?
Ah, mon ami, poorly, poorly, but what could I do? Stand down from leading the defense like a coward? After all, I had to live up to my reputation. And at the time, it did not look hopeless at all. I thought it would be enough to stall Sigismund for a while before the Allied army arrived. And that would not have been so difficult.
Only no army arrived.
Précisément. The hope for a swift end melted away, and the courage of the burghers along with it. I, who fought in 5 countries, was relieved of command, arrested, and handed over to Sigismund.
I heard your attack on the trebuchets was a disaster.
It is true, but that was not my fault. The Kuttenbergers blamed me to cover up their own failure. Ces connards. I made the correct decision, but I was given bad intelligence. The Kuttenberg spies that I sent out reported that the trebuchets weren't defended, but they were too cowardly to take a good look from up close. This tragedy would never have happened if it were not for their stupidity and lack of heart. But enough of that. There is no point, as you say, in crying over the spilled milk. One must move forward. In the meantime, however, I can pass on some of my experience to you. After all,
I'd like to learn.
unfortunately, I cannot.
I see you're already here. How was the journey? Did you run into any trouble?
No, it actually went quite well. Brabant wouldn't shut up, though. Credit where credit's due. He really helped in Malishov. That hit to the gate came at just the right time. We'd have dropped like flies if not for his men. But sometimes, I feel like letting something blow up next to my head too. Just so as not to have to listen to him for a while. I'd be more interested in hearing what happened here yesterday. When we got here, it was like a pigsty.
Some local beggars set up a lair in here. We have to get rid of them somehow.
What about Rosa? Doesn't she regret coming too?
I'm lucky she was here with me. That shot fella in the courtyard, her handiwork.
Really? Nice shot. Anyway, I told the men to get rid of the bodies and clean up the place a little. Hope the lady won't mind.
Quite the contrary, I think.
How did it go with Vavak anyway?
Well, after everything that happened, I didn't want to leave Rosa here by herself. I'll have to go and see him now.
I understand. But go and see him as soon as possible. We won't get anywhere without his Mintmaster's key.
Not a soul around. Very odd.
That's not it. What the? Henry? How the hell did you get in here?
I have my ways.
All right then. Keep your secrets.
What are you doing here?
I could be asking you the same thing. But I've got a different question. How much did they pay you to tell them about the mint?
Vivek was stealing from the town.
And I could happily continue if you weren't such an honest idiot. Instead of which, I was almost caught and hanged. Fanush, Milosh, come here. Defend yourself. Or don't. At least it'll be easier. Here!
Taste my
Show what you're made
steel!
of. Get it.
Ugh. Well, that really is disgusting. Fuck you, Vivek. Wherever you are.
I'm thinking of buying a rowboat.
I was at the Mint Master's place.
Hold on. Everybody should be hearing this. Well, how did it go? Do you have the key?
Aye, I've got it. But it stinks a bit.
Quel puanteur! Put it away unless you want to see my breakfast.
And what about the Mint Master? Will he help us out?
Bavak has disappeared. I found the key in his house, but I also met Christian of Pisek there. He tried to kill me.
Good thing he didn't succeed. How did that end up?
He's dead.
At least he won't rat on us.
The main thing was to get the key, and we did. What's worse is that we don't have anyone inside the court. Well, can't be helped. Let's get to the point. We must have everything ready before Catherine returns from Loretz, especially the way through to the court.
I should say so. If I'm going to send my men, I have to know exactly where the way through is to be made.
That'll be your job, Henry. And Brabant's going with you.
Excuse-moi? Why should I?
Because you've been telling us you know the Kuttenberg Underground like the back of your hand.
And I do, but not firsthand. Only from mind maps and drawings. Nobody will let men of my standing enter those moldy shafts.
If Brabant doesn't want to go into the tunnels, I'll go with someone else.
With Ruthard's daughter, eh? One night wasn't enough for you.
I meant with somebody like Sam. He knows his way around the town underground too.
Oui. That is a good idea.
Why not? Maybe the cold down there will cool his hot head.
What exactly are we supposed to do in that cellar?
Get as far as you can, and mark the spot where Brabant's men will start digging.
I see. Why do I feel like that sounds a bit too easy?
Well, we have no idea what's really down there, so you've better have a weapon handy.
Come now. Surely you do not mean...
Rutard's daughter will tell you more. She came up with this part of the plan.
Where are the others, anyway? Kubienka, Ada, and Janos.
They heard there was work to be done, so... they left à l'anglaise.
But you do the work of three, eh? At least with your mouth.
They're getting some wagons so we can move the silver. If Pisak wasn't lying, there's quite a hole there.
What will you lot do in the meantime?
We'll be doing the planning. We've got to bring those captured Italians to the Devil's Den somehow. They'll just sit tight till we give them back their legate, and then we'll let them all go.
The main thing is keeping Godwin away from the booze. Or we'll have no way of talking to the gents from Rome.
I'm gonna go explore the underground passages that lead to the Italian court. Can you tell me more about them?
What exactly would you like to know?
Where exactly are the tunnels?
They run under most of Italian Street. Some are remnants of the original mine gallery, but other parts are much more recent. So far, only the section from Rutard Palace to the crypt under the church is accessible.
Well, the church is quite a long way from the court. If the tunnel has collapsed anywhere, we're out of luck.
Right. But the tunnels were checked properly before they started building the church. If some part collapsed, we'd be the first to know.
Tell me more about this mine gallery.
It's been abandoned for years, but we could use it. According to the drawings, it's very close to the court cellars. Christian of Pisek confirmed it.
That's a very strange coincidence.
My father said King Wenceslas had long suspected he had enemies among his own ranks. Maybe he had an escape route built. He just didn't finish it in time.
What was the tunnel to the crypt used for?
It's a safe route for anyone who wants to disappear undetected. Just like the one we took to get here.
Has anyone ever used it?
No one that I know of. The servants used it to dispose of waste.
Waste? What kind?
It leads from the kitchen, so I'm sure you can imagine. Bones, scraps, slops.
Oh, wonderful. What exactly am I supposed to be looking for down there? What are we searching for?
We need to find and mark the point where the crypt wall joins with the tunnel. When we break through the wall, only a thin partition will be between us and the cellars of the Italian court.
But how will I know I've found the right place?
You can tell if there's a cavity behind the wall by the sound it makes. The gallery is also damp, so the spot might be a different color.
So, I'll be knocking on the walls in the dark and looking to see if any is a different shade.
Well, yes. Pretty much.
Thanks for the advice. Anything else I should know?
Be careful. Come back in one piece.
I'll do my best. I heard you fought in the Battle of Kosovo. Is that true?
Why wouldn't it be?
I heard it was a horrible massacre, and there were no survivors.
Horseshit, lad. That's just horseshit. It was a massacre. Aye, a terrible slaughter. But the other side lost many men as well.
So how did it happen? Tell me. I don't think I can quite imagine such a massive battle. How many soldiers were there?
Countless, lad. I'd never seen so many take the field. At least 10,000 men on our side. And Sultan Murad must have had at least twice as many with him.
So how did the battle go?
Lord forgive me, but it went to shit.
Could you be more specific?
Specific? Well, I only know what people said after the battle. When you're in the midst of it, you don't see what's happening around you.
Which was?
Oh, it's hard to describe. Attacks are followed by retreats, and between that, only fatigue and dust.
So what happened?
When the battle began, the Serbian cavalry crushed the Turkish left flank. It looked good for us, but alas, that was just the beginning. Soon, we got ours too. We fought valiantly, but they pushed us back, and in the meantime, they hit our center. The Sultan's Janissaries attacked us there. Damn devils, and raised all hell. Rivers of blood soaked the ground.
How could you survive something like that?
You can't give up, and death isn't an option. But then a rumor spread that Prince Lazar had fallen, and everything began to crumble. But he was a tough old warrior of the Nemanjic royal blood. He wouldn't give up just like that. With an arrow in his eye, he climbed his horse and rode straight for the Sultan. Well, that's how he saved us. The battle then lasted until evening. But no one had the strength to force the enemy to retreat.
And where did you fight?
In the saddle. I'm a nobleman, after all. But I lost 3 horses under me. So in the end, I also fought on foot. Most of us mercenaries were on the left flank, under the command of Vlatko Vukovic. But he soon got wounded, and the men began to flee. I mean, if it wasn't for Nicholas Gabriel, we wouldn't be talking here today.
And who was that?
The commander of our company. A born warrior, and a good friend. In fact, Zizka reminds me of him a bit sometimes. In any case, the fact that Gabriel had taken a command at that point meant our flank did not buckle, and the Ottoman rabble did not cut us to pieces as we fled.
So who won in the end?
The battle lasted all day, and in the end no one knew who had won, because both sides left the field. Only later did we find out. Prince Lazar had fallen there alongside all his Serbian nobility. Still later came the news that Lazar had been captured and executed by the Turks the day after the battle.
They executed a prince.
Aye. They beheaded him, because someone had slit their sultan's throat like a piglet.
So you didn't win?
It's hard to say. We held our own against the odds and survived. Only without their prince, it was just a matter of time before Serbia fell into the new Ottoman Sultan's lap. Fortunately, I didn't stick around to see it. All the same, even as I'm telling it, it strikes me what an adventure it was. I suppose
time heals all kinds of shit. In the end, you forget the bad things. And yet, I can only thank God that Nicholas Gabriel was there.
Your captain?
Aye, him. We actually became friends of sorts. He even taught me one of his sword tricks.
He did?
Aye, really. I could even show you sometime. A memory of the good man who saved my arse on that day.
Would you show me the swordsmanship technique Commander Nicholas taught you back in Kosovo?
Why not? I'd be... Oh, at any rate, you need to be quick and thorough. Because for once, you aren't attacking the head directly, but rather the opponent's sword. When you knock it aside, you open up space for a deadly blow. Now come and try it a few times.
It appears we're supposed to go and mark the path for carrying out the silver.
I thought you were going with Brabant. He boasted that he knows those passageways.
Brabant backed out of it.
Perhaps he was afraid to soil that fancy coat of his.
Or he was just lying again. Well, are we ready to go and take a look underground?
Absolutely. Where is the entrance anyway?
In the kitchen.
That's a promising start. Let us go. Pho, that smell. How long have they been throwing shit down here? It is nearly up to my knees. Perish. And it's bloody slippery. Ugh. The nerve of Žižka and Dry Devil. I give them coin, and they send me to wade through shit. Stay close to me. The path might branch off somewhere. We would not want you to get lost.
Has that ever happened to you? Getting lost underground?
Some older boys dragged me into a mine once, and I got lost. I did not find my way out until the night. When Mame saw me, she nearly killed me. This poor soul must have been here a long time. I wonder what schmuck feels the need to hide his stuff down here.
Making so much noise, you'll wake up half the crypt. Oh, stop it. What are we doing here? You know what they do to us? The dead. Nothing. Pinch me. Did you see it too?
What are you doing here?
Sitting around, twiddling our thumbs.
Is it not obvious? They are stealing from your Christian brothers.
How did you get here?
We hid behind the altar. Then we broke in here at night when the church was closed.
We were gonna wait a while before we got to work. Then we heard a loud noise.
Someone was a bit too keen and closed the lid of the crypt.
So we're kinda trapped here.
Serves you right. That's what you get for disturbing the dead.
Wait, how did you two get in here?
That's what I'd like to know too.
Fuck off.
Suit yourself. We'll beat it out of you then.
I'll get you.
You'll die for that, you bastard!
Schmutzig Kopf!
Oi, that sounds different. We have it.
No, this is not it. Have you ever been to Kuttenberg? Before all this, I mean.
A long time ago. With Martin.
Is that so?
Aye. He was here on business and brought me along as help. But I didn't see much. Martin met with a customer in the morning, and we drove back home in the evening.
Perhaps we passed on the street and did not even know it.
Good morning, Henry.
Morning. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too.
Following your treatment, I thought I'd pluck it out of my head myself. Hurt like hell. But now, people who stare at my scar all the time wouldn't even know about it.
Should I take that as a thank you?
Definitely. The very fact I didn't kill you the instant you touched me testifies to my gratitude.
Why? You're threatening that. But then you just screamed and fell into a faint. And a good thing too.
Sam and I walked through the cellar as far as we could, and marked the spot where we should dig.
Well done. Brabant has found some men in the meantime. He may refuse to go down tunnels, but he does have his uses. Considering how much coin he promised them all, I reckon they'll do everything they can to make sure we get out alive. Oh, and while we're on the subject, take this. You've done a lot of good work. You deserve it.
What now then? Have you come up with a way to get to the legate and persuade him to take us to the Italian court?
I should say so. Hey, listen up, all of you. You're done for today, but get plenty of sleep. We'll chase you from your beds early in the morning.
Oh, is that really necessary?
It is. We'll be riding to Lorette's.
Cardinal Pozzo goes to bed with the chickens and gets up before the crack of dawn. After the morning prayer, he eats breakfast together with his retinue, and no one is allowed to disturb them. Most regular folks are asleep at that time, so everything should be nice and quiet when you pay him a visit.
If we don't persuade him to get us into the Italian court, we're fucked. So don't do anything stupid, right?
Is everyone going there?
Everyone except Capon, Brabant, Catherine, and Rosa.
What? Am I just supposed to sit on my ass with the women?
At least you'll get your beauty sleep. That's what you wanted, isn't it?
It's true we shouldn't leave this place unwatched.
Too fucking right. And don't you worry, Lord Capon. If anyone tries to get inside, Catherine will protect you.
Keep your jokes to yourself, Tosspot.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, come on. Lighten up a bit, eh?
Should we be prepared for a fight?
That shouldn't be necessary. Godwin insisted he'll sort things out peacefully with the Cardinal. But I reckon we'll have to twist his arm a bit. And while Godwin's persuading His Eminence to put on a show with us at the Italian court, the Devil, Janosch, Kubienka, and Ada will take his retinue away to the Devil's Den.
Hagen and Urso will be waiting for us there to keep them under guard.
So what exactly am I supposed to do?
Like I said, stand beside Godwin looking mean. With a bit of luck, that'll be enough.
Exactly. No killing.
All right, let's get to work.
Report to me tomorrow morning, is that clear?
I was hoping you'd be coming with us in the morning. That's a shame.
Don't get me started on that. It can't still be dangerous for me, can it? I mean, it's been some time since our escape from Malashov. And von Bergov is locked up in Sukdol. Well, at least I'll get a good night's sleep.
Just you wait. The real trouble will only erupt after we pull off that robbery.
True enough. But I'd still rather go with you. The only entertainment I have here is looking at the pretty girls and listening to Brabant's incredible adventures. Both of which can be entertaining, of course, up to a point.
Excuse me? Put away that weapon.
Be walking around by yourself. Awful things happen here. Work and game.
Good day. Good to see you, friend.
Could you teach?
Why not? But I warn you in it so.
I'd like you shoot.
I prefer the...
Will you teach?
wydawała się milsza.
Greetings.
God be with you.
Great to see you. Good day to you.
Welcome. Take a look around, but no fooling about. I'd like to do some. Well,
How's the...
that's not in. Aye. Here, sir.
Can we go to Lorette's now?
I reckon it's too late now, eh? We have to leave before the crack of dawn tomorrow, while it's still dark, understand?
I'd like to look...
Certainly.
The very fact that it... kill you the instant you touched me testifies to my gratitude.
Why? You're threatening her. But then you just screamed and fell into a... How's your eye? Is it healing well?
What about Lorette?
I reckon we have to leave.
Buono il pollo, eminenza. Così così, eh? Il cibo da queste parti fa un po' cagare.
Ma che diavolo? Come cazzo vi permettete? Eh?
Sit the fuck down.
Nos non... Oh, fuck. Nos non cuer... Vos nos... Vos non vulnerabo. Nobis est petitio. No. Proposal. Ragazio. Ita. Ragazio.
Can you cut it short?
Fuck! Don't interrupt! Latin is tough when you're sober. Andiamo! Forza! After them! They mustn't get away!
Stai attento! Ti ucciderò! Stai attento! Figlio di puttana! Più veloce! Szybciej! Figlio di puttana! No jest to, kurwy nędzy! Più veloce! Biorę tego z łukiem! Figlio di puttana! Più veloce! No, ty stara ucciderò! Spara! No, ti ucciderò! Taki herlawa, jaki szybki! Taki herlawa, jaki szybki! Spara!
Hey up, lad. Keeping all right, are you?
Well, do your best, don't you? That's all you can do, really, isn't it?
Yes, in these times, no.
Yeah.
Not sure about this, though, eh? Who's keeping these roads? No
Mm.
one looks after them, you know.
My words exactly. I mean, no one gives a damn until some noble rides along, and then... Then he's surprised.
Per amor di Dio, mi lascia in pace. Io sono un uomo di chiesa, capite? Non ho fatto nulla.
Non t'empesco.
Misericordiosa Vergine Maria! Cosa vi
Tanti curva con gambe!
Aiuto!
Right, let's see him.
Nie chciał zamknąć gęby, to dostał. Nic mu nie jest lekko otumaniony. No przecież lekko dostał z bańki, no leciutko.
You've killed him.
No przecież nic mu nie zrobiłem.
You fucking killed him, you great Polish ox! You are going straight to hell for that.
Kurwa, do diabła, tylko nie to.
That's right, hell! And all those horned demons there will be taking turns with you. You just wait. They're gonna be fighting over your Polish ass.
Przecież nie chciałem, no! Boże, czemu dałeś mi tak tępy łeb?
Strip them before their clothes get even more soaked in blood. You can undress His Eminence here.
Me?
Why? Because you're the legate now.
Well, that didn't really work out. What are we going to do now?
You heard, didn't you? We'll get rid of the bodies, get Godwin dressed up, and hope his Legate Act fools the Church Council. It's too late to back out now.
Well, maybe it'll be better this way. I wasn't sure the legate wouldn't betray us anyway. I trust Godwin a lot more.
Sure, I trust him too, but not so much his language skills.
Let's get out of here.
Agreed. Our business here is concluded.
Are you going back to Ruthar Palace?
Aye. We have to wash the clothes, get Godwin into them, and hope we don't all end up on the gallows. We still have some time, so if there's something you need to do elsewhere, feel free. I have the feeling there won't be time for anything else once we get started.
You know what? I need to take care of something first. We'll meet at Ruthard Palace.
You value your life, turn around and forget you saw anything.
Calm down now. Nobody saw anything, and I'm leaving.
Hey,
Fuck
you!
right
In the
off.
name of King
Don't show your
Sigismund,
face
I
here
order
again,
you to
arsehole.
halt! What
I came to talk to you.
are you on about, yokel? This is a military position, not some tavern where you can blabber nonsense.
What's it gonna be? I'm not messing around.
Don't make this worse than it is. I'm an official. I've come on behalf of the Kuttenberg Council.
Who did you say you are?
Silence! You're illegally blocking the road and collecting money from merchants. The council demands that you immediately allow free passage and disperse.
Well, yes, but well, we're here on direct orders from the king. We even have his letter of safe conduct. Look for yourself.
Show it to me.
Well, that surely won't be necessary, sir.
I'm afraid it will be. The letter. Now.
Fine. Here it is.
My dear devoted and faithful subjects, I, Sigismund of the House of Luxembourg, King of Hungary and Croatia, and Elector of Brandenburg. Good lord, the titles that man has.
Oh, you can read.
Of course. Why else would I want that parchment from you, numbskull? Do entitle the bearer of this writ, blah blah blah.
It's all in order, you see, according to law. You don't need to read further.
Hereby order the bridge over the Teplitz River to be guarded where crossed by the southern route to Yulo. What is the meaning of this?
What? Not me. You've certainly...
Shut your mouth, deceiver. Teplitz River, my arse. You're stealing here. Plain as day.
But I didn't know.
Didn't know what? That you're on the road to Kuttenberg and not on a bridge in Hungary, thief?
Don't yell. It's not the end of the world. Just a few wagons. Nothing bad happened to anyone.
Where did he get that safe conduct?
Well, we got it from the king, really. That is, our captain did. 4 years ago. Except then he died, and without him, they didn't let us guard anything. Fortunately, we kept the letter, and now we set up from time to time with it to collect money from merchants. And most of them don't know how to read, so when they see the royal seal, they figure it's better to pay and not ask questions.
That's enough. You're coming with me to the city. The executioner will take care of you there.
So you can fucking forget about that.
Victory or death!